Hello there, and welcome to Analyzing Economics with Lucas. Today, we're going to be starting with the first episode of the Intro to Economics Crash Course, with the main question of today's video being, what is economics? It's a great question that a lot of people ask when they're first starting economics, and it can be explained in a broad range and a specific range. Today, we're going to start with that very broad range. So, first things first, economics is simply the study of how people, businesses, and governments make decisions when faced with scarcity. Now, scarcity is limited resources and unlimited wants. So, put in simple, economics defines why people make certain decisions, why some people are rational, why some people are irrational, what is optimal in society, what is not optimal in society. It explains those types of things. Also, what it does is it helps you truly understand why people make decisions and why markets turn out a specific way opposed to another way. Now, on the other hand, to discuss the other point, scarcity is limited resources and unlimited wants. So, plain and simple, when looking at stuff such as lumber, right? Let's say there is a grand amount of people who want to purchase lumber in society because they want to produce houses. Let's say there's a population boom in a place such as Africa, right? Let's say Nigeria, for example. But there's only a specific amount of resources that can produce a specific amount of lumber that people want. So moving forward here, economics also explores how choices are made and how those decisions do affect resource allocation in society. So, just stepping back here, talking about scarcity, limited resources for limited wants. Economics explains why people make certain decisions at specific price points due to a limited quantity. So, some key questions that are part of economics, there's three specific questions being, what goods and services should be produced, how should they be produced, and who should receive them? These are the three main questions that economists answer when approaching specific topics regarding the market. Moving forward, there are two specific subsectors of economics, with the first one generally taught first being microeconomics and the secondary one being macroeconomics. Now, microeconomics, in simplified terms, it focuses on individual decisions and it's a study of individual choice. So it looks at stuff such as consumers, firms, and markets. Well, on the other hand, macroeconomics looks at the economy as a whole by looking at gross domestic product, inflation, and unemployment. So again, microeconomics is looking at the specific individual, while macroeconomics is looking at society as a whole, such as the United States of America. Now, both branches, with micro and macro being both of them, they help us understand different layers of economic behavior. So, through macro, again, that's just the overview of stuff. But if you really want to dive in deeper and look at specific individual choices, you examine the micro economic view. And last but not least here, economic models, they are used by economists to visualize and test real world decisions. And some examples of these economic models are the PPC, which is the production possibility curve, which shows you the maximum combination of outputs from a specific allotted amount of inputs. And one of the greatest examples of the PPC curve is the guns and butter, and it shows that there's an ever increasing opportunity cost. So if you want to produce more and more of butter, you have to give up ever increasing costs or ever increasing amounts of guns. Vice versa. If you want to produce more guns, you have to give up ever increasing amounts of the butter due to those increasing opportunity costs. And it shows and it backs up the flower pot law, meaning that if there were no opportunity costs, they weren't increasing, we could grow the entire worldwide food in a simple flower pot, which is impossible due to opportunity costs. Not only that, these models do happen to simplify complex behaviors into digestible insights, and they're simply just like maps, as they don't show everything, but they help us navigate decisions, which is crucial when making economic decisions based on real world science. That being said, that's the end of the first episode of the Analyzing Economics with Lucas Introduction to Economics Crash Course. Stay tuned for episode 2. We will dive even more into economics. Thank you, and see you guys soon.